Good morning, gang. Happy Thursday morning. Okay, by now, you've probably heard all these stories about United Healthcare's CEO, Brian Thompson, being, for all intents and purposes, assassinated the other day in New York City, right? And of course, you have all the armchair detectives, I guess, if you will, figuring everything out, which I find absolutely hilarious. Oh, this had to be a professional hit, blah, blah, blah. And I laugh hysterically at people saying that. It's like, oh, okay. So all your experience in your life from determining what's a professional assassination attempt is what? From watching John Wick movies or something? You know, it dumbfounds me. Oh, you know, look at the gun he had. It's got a silencer on that. You don't know that. It might not have had a silencer on there, okay? Or a suppressor, or whatever you want to call it. It's funny that the professional assassin there had jam problems with his weapon, okay? That the fact that, he had to reload. And I will give you, if he's using subsonic rounds, that, okay, maybe there was not enough recoil to rack another round in it, and therefore he had to do it manually, except the fact that he wasn't even doing that well, because the latest now that we have is that he left the casings and live rounds on the street. Okay, so I'm just saying, all the gumshoes that we have online, yeah, let the police do their job, right? We don't know if this was some 23-year-old kid who's pissed that his mom's health care or his girlfriend's health care or something got too expensive, and that's what he decided to do to take out his anger. We don't know. We, the public, may never know. The bigger thing that I look at this one is how they don't have this kid already caught, okay? That they might know who he is at this point. We don't know. They don't know where he is. Obviously, we haven't heard anything about arrest. But it gets me into my point on the whole thing. The surveillance state that we live in, and you guys know this, tracks everything about everybody. You know, I hate to say this, but no matter how well you gray man it, you probably pass in front of 20 or 30 cameras a day at least that somebody's watching you on. And I mean, that's not if you're going to work at a bank or something like that. That's maybe if you're taking a quick run up to the gas station. You use credit cards, you use debit cards. When you leave the house, of course, you take your phone with you, so they're GPS tracking you all the time. You don't know who's in your computer, your phone, your TV, recording you or videoing you while I'm sitting here making this movie or this video. You get on social media, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and you talk about everything that is on your mind. You use a VPN. Yippee, okay? I mean, you don't think that the powers that be can't still figure out through a VPN where you are, who you are? I mean, hell, it gets to the point where you look at some of the other stuff that the government does to surveil us, okay? I mean, you have discount cards at the grocery store, right? And I've talked about this one before. You can get the card without filling out the card that goes with it, giving them all the information, your name, address. Sure, they won't mail you the coupons in the mail, but you still get the discounts in the store, okay? Pretty much every one of us somewhere along our lives has been fingerprinted. And I mean, I'm not necessarily saying because you committed a crime, but Maybe to get a job, you had to be fingerprinted or whatever. I know I've been fingerprinted numerous times for different companies I've worked for. You're in the system, okay? Were you one of those people that decided to do 23andMe? You know, gee, I want to track down my ancestry and see where, my heritage comes from. Yeah, guess what? The government now has your DNA. Don't believe me? What was it? I forget. One of the serial killers in California from I think the 70s or whatever. They figured out who it was because his grandson or something like that had put his DNA in through 23andMe, and they did mitochondrial DNA and figured out who it was. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cameras, facial recognition. Sure. We all look different. No problem. I don't care. Grow a beard, shave a beard, whatever. I mean, it's looking at the shape of your nose, the depth of your eye sockets, whatever. I mean, it's, the height of your cheekbones. They're figuring out who you are. Maybe it's just your behavior. Where do you shop? Okay. Do you go to Trader Joe's or do you go to Aldi? Okay. We can figure out things like that. Maybe it's your gait. I'm not talking about the one out in front, G-A-I-T. How you walk. Okay. The stride in which you take. People have a tendency to, you see some people that strut around and you see other people that kind of slovenly walk or whatever. Yeah, that's all trackable and analyzed and storable. Okay. How about your mail? What comes in? Anybody have the post office? I know I do. Okay, I've told you guys about this too. Where the post office will send you an email every day of what's coming in the mail. Okay. I use it for the post office box. 20-minute drive to get to the post office. I'm not going to drive over there if there's nothing in the mail to go get. So they send me an email every morning about 7:30. I get an email that says, okay, here's pictures of the mail or the packages that you have coming. The government is taking pictures of your mail. They know who's sending you stuff. They don't necessarily know what's in it, but they know where you're getting mail from. Gee, this guy happens to get mail once a month from the NRA or from Natchez Shooting Supplies or whatever. I wonder if maybe he's a gun owner. Okay. Different things like that. Gee, he gets all sorts of mail from Greenpeace. They know this stuff and they build a portfolio on you. All right. You need to go, how they haven't figured out who this guy is based on all that information that I just talked about. Everything. I have no idea. We all talk about gray man, and while gray man, I agree, is important in an SHTF situation, it's still practically impossible. You're going to be able to stay gray man from your neighbors. Your neighbors don't know you prep, or maybe your neighbors do or don't know you own a gun, or your political persuasion or something like that. I guarantee you the government knows all of that. The companies you do business know all of that. I mean, why do you think grocery stores give you discount cards? It's not because they're being nice and they want to make less money. No, it's a great way for them to do marketing. Gee, we know this guy buys Kraft macaroni and cheese. And we know he buys 3 boxes a week. So we'll send him a coupon and we can figure out that, all right, he shops once a week. We know that we can sell him 3 boxes of macaroni and cheese a week. This is how companies build it. We offer the information all the time. And you offer it and you don't even know it. Companies send you these satisfaction surveys, right? do this survey and we'll give you 10% off your next order. And you're giving them all sorts of personal information, right? You go to McDonald's or Hardee's or whoever, and you get the little code that you scan with your phone. Do a survey, get a free sandwich, right? And what did you just give McDonald's? Your address, your phone number. Oh, great. Now we have target marketing. We know the people from this particular part of this particular neighborhood go to our store. Great. We'll start focusing our advertising there. Don't think that it's all they're trying to be nice and doing something. Nobody gives you anything for free in life. It doesn't happen. You got to do something or give something to get it, right? Simply put, I mean, I don't care what it is, but how they haven't caught this guy yet. I mean, come on. He rode one of the New York City e-bikes. You need a credit card or an account to get one of those unlocked to use. What do? Steal somebody's card? That's a possibility, okay? Each one of those bikes is trackable. All right, so they figured out the bike went somewhere to Central Park and then the kid disappeared. Okay, what other information do they have? I mean, criminals try to stay one step ahead of the law. Not many of them are able to do it. You know, very few get away with their crime. They may get away for weeks or months or sometimes even years, but eventually they're figured out and caught, okay? It takes a lot more work to stay out of the circle, you know, to not be surveilled than it does to be found. You know, it's very difficult to hide. You know, I know many of you guys have watched this video and, you know, kind of figured out a little bit of where I live, right? Okay. It's because if you start putting puzzle pieces together, you can figure all this out. You know, it's not that difficult to track people down using the internet. I mean, but how they haven't managed to do it. The point is, don't give yourself some false sense of security saying, oh, I'm out here, I do everything in cash, so nobody knows my spending. Come on, okay? You don't think there's license plate readers that know what car you drive? Gee, he stopped at BP for gas. He stops at BP every Tuesday. It's the same license plate. Gee, who's that car registered to? He paid in cash, so we don't know. Come on. All right. Don't lull yourself into a false sense of security. You are being watched. You've been watched for decades. It's just the way it is. Your neighbor may not know, but the government does. Just be aware of that. Don't lull yourself into a false sense of security thinking, oh, you're untouchable. Nobody knows what you do. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows your handle on YouTube or Facebook. You do a good job of keeping yourself anonymous. You may to your neighbor. But if somebody wants to know who you are, they already know way more than you think you do. Pinball out.